What's going on, everyone? It is that time. We're talking college hoops. It is post game, Matt. I don't know about you. It's 10:45 at night.
It's late, man.
It's been a little minute since I've done this whole post game thing. I mean, only a couple weeks since
My
the national.
my contacts are drying out, but we stayed up and watched the whole game, Lauren. We're still
Look,
young enough
Matt,
to pull that
I'm
off.
I'm becoming like grandmama over here. I went to bed at 8:30 last night. Like, what is wrong with me? I don't know. But when there's good hoops on,
That's right.
ESPN, center stage, number one Auburn versus Alabama, obviously plenty to talk about there. Of course, this brought to you by Andrew Sports Medicine. We appreciate their sponsorship and their support for our coverage here on AL.com. So Matt Scalisi with me now to kind of break things down. We talked about the pregame. Now we're here at the postgame. Alabama, Auburn. Auburn ends up running away with it. The final score 100-81. So Auburn winning by triple digits. Pretty impressive win that makes Auburn now. That's 18 wins in a row for them. They've got one loss in the season, double overtime loss to Connecticut is all the damage they have on their record as of right now. But look, Matt, you and I were texting, midway through the game. Hey, what's the plan for post game? And you pretty much say, hey, it looks like Auburn's going to run away with this one, and it did. But then all of a sudden, Alabama cut the lead to 2, but then Auburn went on a 22-6 run. So just your overall thoughts of kind of what you saw there in the jungle tonight. Is obviously we saw the fans get into it. It was a wild and crazy crowd, and Alabama just couldn't get it done and couldn't find its consistency and its rhythm there.
No, I mean, I think it looked like a pretty typical game for Auburn, and it looked like, as we talked about in the pregame, Alabama has there's two versions of Alabama. There's the version when they can put it together and keep their intensity up through an entire game, and there's the games like tonight where they get frustrated, they go on long stretches where they can't make anything happen offensively. And I also think compared to last year's team, last year's Alabama team, this team is not at the same level defensively. And I think we saw that early in the game. Alabama was playing some pretty strong defensive basketball, and it broke down very quickly. Auburn found openings, found weaknesses, and they took advantage of them. We also mentioned in the pregame show that Alabama, one of the ways they were able to keep that first game close was that they were able to get Walker Kessler in foul trouble. They did not give any trouble to Walker Kessler
No.
tonight. He had an incredible game. He was a dominant presence the whole game, and Alabama had no answer for him. They just don't have anybody with that size that can match up with him. And in general, I think you could see multiple guys in that Auburn roster that Alabama does not have a great matchup answer for. This is an incredibly talented Auburn team. I think as good as some of the competition is that Alabama has faced and beaten this season, we talked about they've beaten Gonzaga, they've beaten Baylor, two highly ranked teams. Auburn's talent level just looks like it's at another level, even than some of the other really elite teams in college basketball right now.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I got to be honest with you, and all the credit to Auburn for this, but seeing that number one beside their name is, I mean, it's cool. It's awesome. It's great to have this kind of basketball here in the state of Alabama. It's just crazy, kind of putting it in perspective that this team obviously enters into that number one ranking as of last week, first time in school history, first time in program history. Pretty awesome feat, and to be able to do that, maintain it, and continue to look the part, I think is really amazing to me. And again, it's not doubting that Auburn couldn't get there. It's just when you think about sort of all they've gone through, and some of the kind of off the court issues and some various things around the program and this, that, and the other, and then just sort of the up and down that we've seen, especially coming off a couple years ago, making the NCAA tournament, going on a long run. And then last year kind of became Alabama's year. And then here we are now with Auburn. You're right. I think Walker Kessler is certainly a force. Alabama had no answer for him. I think the other matchup issue there, Jabari Smith, of course, and Alan Flanagan certainly presenting a lot of challenges for them. And then, I'm looking at sort of, the depth that Auburn has, obviously just being super impressive. But, the amount of talent that this basketball team has, the depth that they have, and you kind of dig into the roster, you dig into the depth chart, and I mean, okay, let's look at Wendell Green. He
Tremendous night for Wendell
career
Green.
night, right?
Yeah.
And he's coming off the bench. So this is a guy that literally came off the bench and had a career night. Tremendous from three, 23-point season high, 6 assists, all came in the first half. He had 8 rebounds. Just a tremendous night for him. And again, it speaks to the depth of this basketball team. And we talked about this before, Matt, too. I think it's the versatility that this team has. And look, Auburn doesn't always play flashy basketball, and they got pretty flashy there throughout this game. And I think that was just part of being there at home, obviously going on a run, really kind of flexing their muscles over Alabama. But, they don't always necessarily have the most, awe-inspiring, games or performances. But I do think this Auburn basketball team shows up and, has that depth and certainly that sort of willpower that translates well on paper and certainly on the scoreboard as well. So
yeah, it is really interesting, Lauren, because look, when it comes to this sport, right, as fun as this season is, and as special as this team looks right now for Auburn, ultimately they're going to be judged by how they perform in the last month of the season. That's how it works in basketball. So can they put together a string of games where they are having to play increasingly difficult opponents and still continue this pace that they're at? Everything suggests that they're going to be able to right now, because they're on an incredible winning streak. They're in the longest winning streak in college basketball right now. But again, the level of competition is going to obviously step up and be more difficult than what they've been facing so far. I think that so far what we've seen from this team is it looks like they're good at everything. It looks like they're good in every phase of the game right now. They obviously did lose a game early in the season. They probably figured some things out from that game. If there is a way to stifle and stop what this Auburn team does so well, nobody's shown it yet. Nobody's figured it out. So I think it's so different than what we're doing on these shows during football season, Lauren, where we can say, maybe you can identify something that's going to trip this team up down the road. We don't really have anything to go on right now, and
yeah.
I think it's exciting. It's a team that has already put together an incredible run this season. Can they do it against elite team after elite team once that part of the season arrives? That's the most important in this sport. We will see. I think Alabama's one of, as much as everybody in here would love to sort of dunk on Alabama the way that Auburn was tonight and say they suck, they're no good, we ran them out of the gym. The truth is, Alabama statistically is actually one of the best teams that Auburn has beaten this season. This is one of their best wins on their entire resume so far. And Auburn fans should be careful about ragging on Alabama so much, because they actually kind of need for that to be a positive. Is that this Auburn team is tested and has gotten big wins against good opponents. Alabama is a tournament team. They're going to be in the field of the first round of the NCAA tournament. They're obviously a team that has a lot of issues and a lot of problems, but they've won enough games that this is an NCAA tournament team. And the fact that Auburn did this to them tonight should be a really promising sign for what this team is capable of come March.
Yeah, no doubt. I got a couple comments I want to get to here, but first of all, you talk about NCAA tournament. I know the broadcasters brought it up that the crowd was chanting NIT to Alabama, I guess, there towards the end, which is kind of interesting, because to your point, this is certainly not an NIT team in Alabama, and the statistics kind of speak for itself. The next thing I want to say, I love Tanya Cole here. We dropped 100 on them. It's pretty cool. You can put emoji and use that for this game. You see 100, you see triple digits on the scoreboard. That's always fun. And lastly, Mr. Kenneth Bryant, he says, you can tell these two hate that Auburn is good. All right, Kenneth, my friend.
Oh, we're all we're doing is coming in here talking about how good Auburn basketball is.
Yeah.
I
So
do
Kenneth,
think,
I ain't
look,
got a dog in the fight, man. I
Kenneth,
went to Rutgers and we did knock off the then number one team in the country.
here's what I would say. Kenneth Bryant is a great example of maybe why it's still so new to some fans, to even some Auburn fans, that Auburn is this good at basketball. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody right now. You're the number one team in college basketball. Everybody is now expecting Auburn to not just win every game, but win every game easily. You're going to have a target on your back. You're going to have a lot of high pressure situations, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this team handles it. Even as great as Auburn has been under Bruce Pearl so far, this is a new level for this program. They are not the scrappy underdogs that are surprising everybody anymore. They're the number one team in the country, and that comes with expectations. So I'm very interested to see how the rest of this season goes.
Absolutely. All love to you, Kenny Bryant. We appreciate you writing into us. And Tanya, you're welcome. Give you a little shout out there. Look, last thing I got to say, we saw a video. I know Patrick Greenfield, or one of our producers, one of our guys there, getting on the tweet machine and putting out the video of Bruce Pearl there with the fans doing the.
We actually have, by the way, you're gonna see we've got two folks there, Wes Siner and Laura Goldman, that are shooting video for us at the game tonight. So if wherever you're watching this, YouTube, Facebook, you're gonna see highlights from the game dropping on here very shortly. You're gonna see Bruce Pearl's press conference. You'll see Nate Oates' press conference on our Alabama pages too. So we've got a ton of video coming from this game tonight. Should be dropping on here any second.
Yep, absolutely. Good stuff. I know the crowd was wild. It was a lot of fun to watch. You could feel the energy in there, and certainly a well-fought, well-played game by both teams. And Kenneth, yes, Auburn on top. I love you too, buddy. Hey, thank y'all so much for watching. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate the love. We appreciate you guys staying up with us just as we near the top of the hour here, 11 p.m. Guess who's going to be going to bed soon? That would be me. All right, y'all. Be good. Enjoy it. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe out there. Thanks for watching. And thank you again to our sponsor, Andrews Sports Medicine. We appreciate you. And Matt, thanks for your intel. We'll catch you later.